Hey everyone, welcome back to 996 The Howl. Welcome to the first progress report of the season. Every 10 games, we zoom out, do a macro level of where the Utah Mammoth are at, and I'm just as stunned and shocked as all of you. This is the best start to the organization since I followed them and in the Arizona Coyote history, and obviously the Utah Hockey Club and Utah hockey history. Last year, it took them to the end of November 23rd, to get 8 wins. Game number 20, they were 8-9-3 at the 20 game mark, and they're already at 8 wins here in their first 10 games, 8-2-0, tied for first place in the whole league with the New Jersey Devils. They're on a 7-game win streak. It is very hard for me to give praise. It's so easy to give constructive criticism. What's wrong? How do we fix it? But to just give flat out praise, there's not much else to say. It's honestly unbelievable what they've done. They're riding high. They're on a heater. There's so many fun stats in this video. Let's just jump right into it. Points percentage, they're second in the league. They're first in absolute points, but in points percentages, the Devils edge out the Mammoth. That's up from, .543. Obviously, things are going to come back down to earth. There's some stats are unsustainable due to the small sample size. I expect this points percentage to be somewhere, 6.5, maybe 7, and that's a for sure playoff team if you're hitting 7. So maybe let's say a 6.5 or a 7, or maybe they keep it up. Goals for per game, 3.7 goals per game. That's fourth in the league. It's up from 2.94. Goal scoring was a huge issue for Utah last year. That's why they had to make that big trade to grab JJ Peterka and just create this whole new second line, which is taking the league by storm. This team has 2 first lines with the Keller Schmaltz Hayden line, the money line, and the Young Guns line in the Gunther Cooley Peterka line. And then, to be honest, it seems like we have 2 fourth lines. So I think we have 2 first lines and 2 fourth lines, and Andre Tourigny is just rolling line after line. This team is so well coached, so prepared, so structured. 5-on-5, they're great. All the analytics 5-on-5 show this team is very healthy. On a back-to-back facing one of the best teams in the regular season, the Winnipeg Jets, they didn't look tired at all. You couldn't even tell it was a back-to-back for the Mammoth. Goals against per game, second in the league. Unbelievable stuff. 2.4 goals against per game. That's really good. I don't think that's going to increase too much. Maybe 2.6, but we should not be approaching 3 goals against per game. If you remember in my season preview, one of my expectations was to have over 3 goals for per game and below 3 goals against per game. Last year was 3.06. Power play, it's pretty much league average at 22.22, down from 24% last season. They started off the season pretty rough, 2 for 20, which is a 10% success rate. So the past 2 games, they've been unbelievable. They had 2 power play goals against the St. Louis Blues. PK needs some work. I feel like PK and faceoffs are probably the worst aspects of this team. They're 22nd in the league, just under 73%. Last year, they were over 79%. I think with more reps, you'll get better at the PK. Again, it's only 10 games in. Save percentage, 9th in the league at 904. Last year was 891. For me, having save percentage around 900 is great, and it's what I'm expecting. I don't need my goalies to be world-class world beaters. Average, solid goaltending, which we're getting from both goalies. We'll get to them next. And if anything, Vejmelka is way better than average. Shooting percentage, 8th in the league. Andre Tourigny comes back to form. He's always top 10 in the league in shooting percentage, even during those rebuild years in Arizona. Last year was a bit of an anomaly. They're only 10.3%, way out of the top 10. Shots on goals per game, 30.2, 30 shots per game they're averaging. On 6th in the league. Look at this disparity. I mean, this was the first time last year where Andre Tourigny's team, their shots on goal for eclipsed their shots on goal against, and they did it by about 1 shot. Now they're up to 5 shots of that gap between both of them. Just love to see that. Shots on goal against, almost 25 shots against per game, 4th in the league. Defensively, they're not letting anything to their goalies. Face-offs, like I said, pretty bad. 29th in the league, just about 45.5%. Barrett Hayden leads the team with 54% on the face-off dot. Even Stenlin, who's supposed to be a really good face-off guy, a dependable guy, he's only at 49%. So congrats to Barrett Hayden for showing up and leading the team in the face-off percentage. So no bad words for Barrett Hayden. Also just want to talk about there's hits here as well, which has increased slightly. One of my expectations was to hit more, be more intense and intimidating physically, which they do look like this season. Every game out in these 10 games, the third period, it's either tied or it's a 1-goal game for or against Utah. It's not like they're just demolishing teams. Like, they're in these tight games and they're coming through more often than not in that third period to get that game-winning goal. And in the playoffs, 90%, 95% of games are tied in the third, or it's a 1-goal game in the third. Especially the deeper you get into the playoffs, that's all the playoffs is. It's tight. They're two really great teams. And the fact that the Utah Mammoth are building so much confidence in these tight, close games in the third period is something to marvel at. And injuries, they've been without Dursey. He should come back in about 2 or 3 weeks. Kerfoot, they've been out with him the whole season so far, and he's expected to miss another 8 to 10 weeks with an abdominal muscle injury. He had to go have surgery. So again, faceoffs would be better with Kerfoot, which is probably why the drop-off is so drastic compared to last year. Let's get into the players. Nick Schmaltz in a contract year, obviously he's just going to explode. He leads the league in points. Nick Schmaltz. How 7 goals, 9 assists, 16 points, leads the whole NHL in points. Schmaltz, now I don't want to talk about contract stuff. Great job for Schmaltz. Loving Schmaltz's game lately. Last year it took him like 20 games to score his first goal, and now he's already leading the team in goals. Clayton Keller, 12 points in 10 games played. There's pretty much 5 players who are a point per game on this board. Logan Cooley, a contract year, tie with the team lead in goals, 11 points in 10 games. Dylan Guenther, 4 out of his 5 goals are game winners this season, and that leads the league in game-winning goals with 4. That goal against Winnipeg late in the third, that one-timer, he's clutch. Unbelievable, so fun to watch this team. And Peterka rounds it out, 9 points in 10 games. Great that all our top 6 are here, point-per-game players. Obviously, the only player missing is Barrett Hayden, but if Schmaltz and Keller are going, you do not say anything bad about Barrett Hayden. And he's leading the team in faceoffs. He does the invisible things, crashing the net, going to the dirty areas, giving Keller and Schmaltz space to do their creative plays. It doesn't work with McBain, doesn't work with Stenlund, with Hayden. It just works, so you just keep it that way. Sergachev is close with 8 points in 10 games, and Marino is right below Sergachev. Marino is having a great offensive year, I feel. He's always jumping up in the play, looking more involved and more confident. Goalies, Vejmelka leads the league in wins with 6. He's 6-1-0, a .905 save percentage, .243 goals against average. Unbelievable against Minnesota. Unbelievable all season. He looks fantastic. His pads look fantastic. My anxiety about Vejmelka from preseason was quenched in 1 or 2 games. And Vanacek, a 2-1-0, beating the Winnipeg Jets at home in Winnipeg on a back-to-back. There was a sequence there where he made 3 saves in a millisecond, gets the initial shot, gets the rebound, and gets a desperation save. I think it was a tie game at that point. I'm happy with Vanacek. I wasn't familiar with his game. He's been solid. He's doing exactly what we need, providing stability, consistency, and giving Vejmelka some rest. A .913 save percentage and 2 goals against average. Here's some analytics just to show some more good stuff. The Utah is a top 2 team in finishing. I look at this graphic here, and they're top 10 in 5-on-5 expected goals for share. This is a very important number. This means 5-on-5, when Utah is facing the other team, the analytics show they're more likely to score goals than the other team. That's healthy. You want your team to be great 5-on-5. You don't want them to be power play merchants. And here's a little maybe anxiety-inducing graphic. This is goal differential above expected. Utah's really high, top 5. And so this shows me that they're scoring above their heads, and that might come back down to earth. The goals are really coming easy for Utah, and it's weird to say that when the first couple of games, it was so hard to score. They were struggling, only like 1 or 2 goals per game, and then it kind of erupted with that San Jose game. So great stuff by the Utah Mammoth there. So that's it for me. Thanks for watching. First in the league, the Utah Mammoth. Just enjoy it, ride it high. This was supposed to be a gauntlet, this Western Conference gauntlet between, facing the Blues, the Wild, the Jets, and now the Oilers Tuesday night. And they already won all of those games on the road so far. Whatever's happening, and they're just well coached, well prepared, and so exciting to watch. And they're really putting a stamp in the league that they deserve to be in the playoffs. So that's it for me. Thanks for watching. If you like what you see, spread the word.